Hey you guys, this is Mrs. Collette, and today we're going to talk about counter arguments and how to write them. Okay? In order to do that, I want you to think back to the last time that you were in or that you watched a really bad argument, a fight with lots of anger and unkind words. Okay? Think about how people in that situation might have acted, or how you might have acted, or how someone might have acted towards you. Was there unkind words, or were there unkind words? Did people try to make each other feel stupid or like they were a bad person? Did anybody try to tell the other person that what they thought didn't matter? Did people listen to each other? How much do you think people changed their opinion? If you were in a fight like this, would you go back to your room and think, man, I love that person. I care so much about that person right now. I'm full of all these loving feelings, and I realize that I'm wrong, and I need to change and do things differently. You probably didn't feel this way, at least at first, because it takes a huge effort to respond this way. And it's not a bad way to respond. It's a good way to respond to criticism, even unkind criticism, with the thought of how can I improve myself? That's not bad. But it's hard to do, and most people won't do it, or at least they won't at first. If you want people to listen to you and change their minds, making them feel stupid or making them feel like bad people is not going to be a very effective way at changing their minds. So today we're going to talk about what you can do to get people to agree with you. The first step is to listen to them. Don't get angry. Listen to what they have to say first. When they see you listening, they will also feel like they should listen to you. You show them respect, they will want to show you respect. So by listening to the other side, you're not being weak, you're inviting them to listen to you. Acknowledge their side. See why they feel the way they do. People don't normally make decisions just because they want to be jerks. Most people make decisions because they think that it's going to help them in some way or it serves their priorities, and those priorities are usually understandable. Maybe your mom doesn't want you to get this video game and you want to think, she just is so angry, she doesn't like me, but your mom probably likes you and instead has some sort of reasoning like, I want you to spend more time outside. I want you to play with your siblings more. I am worried about the content of this game. Something like that. Acknowledge their side. Say, I know that you probably are just trying to help me. I can see that you might be worried about me playing too much inside or not spending enough time with my siblings. If you acknowledge their side, think about how much more likely they are to listen to your side. Think about how much more likely you are to listen to someone who says, I understand why you feel that way. The next thing you want to do is find common ground. Okay? Find something that you have in common, something you both care about. Maybe you're part of the same family and you want to keep your family safe, or you love the same people. Maybe you're both Americans, or maybe you're both from Utah and you want the best for people here. Maybe you just both care about children or animals being safe or something like that, right? We both don't like animal abuse, and that's relevant here for some reason. Find common ground. Find some way that you agree with them, some sort of basis that you can build from. Acknowledge your similarities with that person because that makes them less likely to want to disagree with you. Use evidence that will matter to them. Okay? The evidence that matters to your friend about a video game, oh dude, this is the coolest game ever. There's so much blood spurting everywhere. It's awesome, right? That's not going to persuade your mom. Instead, you use the evidence that will matter to her. Or maybe it's your dad. Maybe he's making dinner and you really want a slice of cake because you are so hungry, but dad's like, no, dude, dinner's almost ready. And you say, Dad, I understand, acknowledge his side, that you're working really hard on dinner and you want me to eat it because you care about feeding our family, just like I do. We both care about my health and I respect your hard work. Find common ground. Then use evidence that will matter to him. You say something along the lines of, I'm really hungry right now, and what if I just eat like something small? You show him something that he cares about. Or your mom, maybe you say, this game isn't that violent. Look at this internet site that shows you what's in it. Right? And then finally compromise or help them to see what you want will benefit them. Okay, Dad, how about I eat a carrot instead of a slice of cake? I can see that you want me to be healthy. I'll eat a carrot. Or, Mom, if you let me get this game, I promise to play with my little sister, and I know that you care about that. Or, I promise that I will play it together with our family. Or, I'll only play it for this long every day. You help them to see how what you want will also help them. Think about how much more likely people would be to listen to you if you approached them in a kind manner and you listened to them, you acknowledged what they wanted, and you found common ground, and then you used evidence that persuaded them and either compromised or helped them to see that you are going to benefit them by doing this thing. And then be honest, make good on what you said. Now let's apply this to our writing. We're going to go, I've written a paragraph that is a counter-argument for the co-ed sports subject, and let's break it down, and I'll show you how this goes. So here, I'm going to write a paragraph for co-ed sports, as though I want the teams to be mixed, because I'm going back and forth, and my last paragraph was against them. And I'm going to address the side of people who might disagree. So I'm going to use a quote from someone who disagreed that sports should be combined. Okay, so let's start by acknowledging the other side. Many people would say that co-ed teams will ruin sports because boys won't play as hard. Okay, Barbie Carpenter explains this opinion in her article, Are There Disadvantages of Boys and Girls Playing Together in Sports? She says, now this is me introducing a quote. You should always introduce a quote before you use it. That's just how you're supposed to do it. It's best that way. If you haven't done that in your previous paragraphs, go back and introduce the person who spoke in the article that they wrote. Here we go. She says, and here's my quote, boys might fear being too aggressive with girls on the playing field. From a social perspective, they might fear failing in front of girls who they like socially. So here's Barbie Carpenter explaining that opinion that is not what I'm trying to prove. I'm going to go on. So this is me listening. It shows I have read the other side and I understand where they're coming from, right? This may be true, me acknowledging once again where they're coming from. Boys may play more competitively against each other than they would against a gender mixed team. People really care about sports and competition, and that's not a bad thing. This is me finding common ground. I can say it's not bad that you feel this way and that you care about competition. I might even write, I care about sports and competition too. While some boys may not play as hard against girls, the opportunities that come from girls and boys playing together are too important to give up. This is one that I wrote in my outline, if you'll remember. So I had the quote, and I had the reason that people disagree, and the quote, and then I have this here. I added, oh, and I had this, acknowledging their side. I did add this bit to help it make sense. I acknowledged the other side and then led into people really care about sports and competition, and that's not a bad thing. Here we go. Let's keep going. Co-ed teams build stronger communities and stronger friendships. They help players to develop respect. I'm going to assume that I already proved that in an earlier paragraph. If I were writing the whole essay, I probably would have. But I have to remind them of my evidence so that I'm using evidence that matters to them. Right? Even if you are worried about boys being less competitive, you should still support the law that would combine co-ed teams, combined teams, that's what I should have said, because of all the advantages to co-ed teams. This is my call to action. It reminds the person I'm writing to what I want them to do and why. And it was in my outline. So I added from my outline this bit, and I changed this sentence a little. I had this already, but I added this. I had my quote already, but I introduced it. And then I had already had this. So you're adding a few sentences here. Nothing huge, nothing major, and you get a nice paragraph out of it. That's your assignment for today. Don't write exactly what I wrote, right? Don't use the same argument with the same evidence in the same way. You can still use this piece of evidence, or you can do something else. But today I want you to address what the other side would think, acknowledge their point of view, and then show why the person who's reading your essay should still do what you want them to. Why is it beneficial for them to do what you want, even though they might disagree? Let me know if you have any questions, and I would be happy to help you. Thanks. Bye.